We have one more young Indian with us as part of the Voice of the Young series. Hello, everyone. Good to be back. Right now, we have with us Praharsh Patel. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Praharsh.
Hello, sir. I am Praharsh. I'm currently a PhD candidate at Pennsylvania State University. I am pursuing Energy, Environment, and Food Economics program. I specialize in water policies and natural resources. Before joining PhD here, I have had a long journey. It's not never been a very straight path. I crossed many cross sections and decided my career journey through different paths. So I would be happy to like walk young people like me who have been in the dilemmas and choosing their career paths to like express how I did my journey to till now. So if you allow me, I would like to present like how I have been exploring my avenues around and how I have been like deciding about what should be my next career choices.
Sure, show it, but let me say I've seen it. It is very impressive. And so it's worth paying attention to as to how a person who does so many accomplished things still takes time to find his path. So let's see it, Praharsh.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the introduction. So currently, I am an environmental economist and mostly work on the environmental policies. Mainly, I am focusing on solar irrigation promotion in India. I've been focusing on air pollution and mitigation efforts in northern India and also like water metering challenges in different parts of the world. Uh, Before that, but I would like to take you to back to my ancestral home and how things started back there. Firstly, I belong to a family in Gujarat. My parents had four siblings. I have three elder sisters. I grew up in a house with my grandparents, and we were a joint family. And at a point of time, we were living like 12 individuals living in a 2 BHK apartment quarter that my father got as a professor in the university.
Which city was this?
This is based out of a town called Vallabh Vidyanagar next to Anand. Anand is a town in central part of Gujarat, and there is a university called Sardar Patel University, state university where my father used to work as an economics professor.
Okay. All right, let's continue.
Sure. I grew up in a really interesting neighborhood. It was a university town, so most of the people used to live around the university housing, surrounded by mostly the professors from diverse background. As a kid, we used to interact a lot with all these educated people, and that kind of inculcating in exploring different avenues in my life. I did my schooling from the same town. Back then, when I was doing my schooling from 2000 to 2012, the town used to be dominated by Gujarati medium schools. So I went to the Gujarati medium schools. It had excellent education and the opportunities. I did my primary schooling from a small school which was run by the non-profit. Then I went for my high school to a government school, which was a technical school, which was a unique concept. We were given the basic understanding of engineering and technical abilities right in the high school from grade 8 to 10th. After that, I found my interest in science and pursued my high, higher secondary schools, that's 11th and 12th grade in science school. Uh, Fortunately, with my ambitions to like excel at science, I graduated with highest marks in this district, and I was a topper in the district. So everyone was thinking I should be going for engineering, or at at that time it was be like if you are a maths person, you should definitely go for engineering. But I wasn't interested in following the same path. Engineering was good, but I didn't find my passion there. I wanted to work in something more socially inclined, work for the something like civil services. So I started exploring, and my father provided me with a new iPad when I graduated with my high school, and told me like, go and explore whatever you want to do. And I started searching what are the best colleges for science, what are the best colleges for arts, and different things. And I found there is something called University of Delhi, and there is a college called St. Stephen's College, which is highly prestigious. And back then it was 2012 with sitting government. There were like 11 member of parliaments or ministers coming from the same college. Like, let me give it a shot, and let me apply for this prestigious college. Whether I will get it or not is a second story, but let me just apply. And rest is history. I went through the interview process. I got the admit and admitted to St. Stephen's College. And interestingly, I was the only Gujarati during my 5 years at the college. And it was not just a surprise for the university, but it was a very much surprise for people back in my hometown. All my friends were considering me kind of uh, not very smart in making a decision to go for a science for my graduate degree. And all the time when I used to travel from Gujarat to Delhi, I will find the co-passengers who were like intrigued or like confused. Why am I doing BSc degree all the way from Delhi and not somewhere in Gujarat itself?
Mhm.
This is a time when people didn't know much about what are the different college options after high school in Gujarat. And I became a more of a torchbearer for many generations of students coming after from the same school to like show like different paths. These are the schools and the universities you can apply to outside Gujarat. You don't need to like just stay in Gujarat for your higher education. So reached St. Stephen's College with a Gujarati medium background, didn't had much of a exposure for sure. Never traveled out of my town without my parents or anyone, and I am directly landing in a big city like Delhi, that too in North Campus. That's the first time I was living in the hostel, my first hostel room. This is the St. Stephen's famous cross, and also exciting people that I started meeting over there. An interesting fact over there was I did my high school completely in the boys' schools. So I was very shy kid coming out of a boys' school and had a limited experience to have education in co-ed schools. So first couple of months, I was a very weird student for most of the my classmates. But I'm really thankful to them who helped me open up and broaden my understanding about different aspects inside and outside the classrooms. It was an interesting time. Defense definitely provides a wide variety of student exposure to different cultures, education, more than the class education like things you get outside the classrooms, different clubs, activities, uh, different types of interactions with the stalwarts coming and visiting the college. And I just started exploring, again, I was pursuing BSc General, which is physics, chemistry, and maths, but I used to discuss economics. I used to discuss social sciences, history, literature with all my classmates, and that made me a much of a versatile personality, which I still try to pursue. One thing that I really inculcated during my days at Stephens was like Gandhian thoughts. I was part of this Gandhi study circle, which I eventually became a like leading the organization. The Gandhi study circle kind of inculcating this minimalistic and Gandhi's talisman in me. Like Gandhi's talisman is known as like if you are ever confused in your life, just think like how your act or your abilities can help the last mile person in the world. And that has been a torchbearer for me most of the time when I am in confused state about my career or like whether I am in the split roads and deciding which way I should be going. Uh, I started learning charkha, and it wasn't for production or anything, but it was more of a therapeutic thing for me. It used to help me focus and help me being very grounded. I also started becoming more of a vocal person, started taking part in discussions and leading the group discussion and different debates. Very, it was a time 2012 to 15, kind of a political changes were happening in the country. Many of the leaders of the time used to visit the college, and we used to get the direct interaction with them and try to get their first-hand experiences. In my final year at Stephens, we contested the election along with our presidential candidate Rohit. The election was for the Student Union Society, and it was an interesting time convincing different people about your sure, perfectly fine.
So we had an internet glitch, but we are back. Praharsh, please continue. You were talking about your third year
Thanks,
of
sir.
election.
Yeah, the final year of college, yeah, it was an interesting time when I started exploring different pathways. Like, firstly, I was a very good friend with many of my differently abled friends from the college. I used to coordinate their events. Mostly the visually challenged students used to be my dearest, and like we had a best friendship that are even going on after 10 years. The pictures that are showing, many of them just got married, and I was invited. We had a celebration that give me a different perspective about life and how challenges, like even having a differently abled background, how people were enjoying their life to the fullest and trying to make best out of it. So my friend Viresh and Viru, who are pictured over here, they are the inspiration for me and many others who like most of the in my generation people find any hardship, they are heartbroken and like give up. But whenever I feel like that, I just pick up my call and give a call to this buddies of mine from the St. Stephen's College. Uh, we also contested the election and won, and eventually I was a part of the council, whereas my friend was the president. But my duty as a council member was to keep track on the presidential activities. So it was an interesting job that I had, like where I was once approving someone for a president, but then also putting a check on him once he was elected. During this year only, it was also transition time. I was graduating, so I had to make the decision how I go after my undergrad. I was a science student, so I was definitely interested in maths and other sciences, but mathematics was my calling. I was also interested in social sciences, wanted to work in the development sector, so I was also applying for the schools that are good for developmental studies or liberal arts. And interestingly, I got admission offers from three very different programs. First is like I cracked All India rank 33 for IIT JAM mathematics examination. So I was admitted to any and all the IITs for my master's in maths. Uh, I had option to join Tata Institute of Social Sciences to pursue developmental studies program, and also had an option to go to Young India Fellowship program, which was initially offered by Ashoka University. It was time of dilemma. I was thinking like, how should I be pursuing my next couple of years? And I was just 19 back then when I was graduating. I started my schooling quite early and graduated my UN college quite early in my age. Uh, Eventually, I decided I should build my technical skills and my ability as a mathematician more before I jump start into any other career. And I decided to go to IIT Kanpur, which is considered one of the best mathematics program for master's degree, and started my 2 year master's degree from IIT Kanpur. This is from the final year. I was awarded a Mukherjee Memorial Prize for being entrepreneurial about my journey and perseverance, living the simple life. But when I started my IIT Kanpur, it was a very different place. Although I was entering with high hopes from myself, not from the university. I had big hopes from myself. I like cracked the All India exam with two-digit score, so two-digit rank. So I was thinking, oh, I should be able to do great here. I am possibly the best mathematician that can be produced. But initial few months, I realized that things were very different from Stephens and IIT. The education and pedagogy and also like the curriculums were quite different. It was my first semester. I was the highest rank holder from the admission crowd, and I definitely had a bit of an ego of like back then that oh, I can definitely do quite well than most of my counterparts in the class. But the first examination came in, it was a quiz by Professor A.K. Lal. It was abstract algebra, and I got 0 out of 15, and that busted the bubble. Definitely, the next few months were really stressful for myself, realizing that the way I have been studying maths, it's not the right way of doing maths. I used to really good at understanding formulas, applying the formulas from calculus and other things, but that's not the maths that's really is. And I started delving into more into abstract algebra, linear analysis, and all core mathematics courses. There, I was really thankful to a couple of professors who actually taught how to learn mathematics, for that matter, any subject, not like just following the textbook, but trying to understand the logic behind it, which is like still my mostly how I pursue about studying any new topic or any new challenge that I come across, asking the fundamental questions: why this is happening? What does this mean? Why are we pursuing this? At the IIT Kanpur itself, I became a very integral part of this organization called Counseling Service. Sorry for the typing mistake there. But Counseling Service was the place where, uh, so IIT Kanpur had a history of like many people having stressful life because it's a very competitive program. Students are cream de la cream. Group of depression and stress, the university or the institute started with an organization mostly run by the students to help their peers cope up with the stresses. And I was the part of, initially, I was joining the counseling service to like handle my stresses. But eventually, I started helping others out and became a core team member of the counseling service, which eventually organizes orientation events and welcoming new students, helping them out with all the issues. This like serving with counseling service helped me like develop my leadership skills, also communication skills, and also made me more emotionally available for people I need, and my emotional quotient, like EQ, people call it now. Uh,
We had to pause for a reason, but we are back. So, Praharsh, please go ahead. You were talking about the
sure,
counseling.
sir. We were just
So, go
yeah.
ahead.
So counseling service is the most interesting job I ever had. It's not a job as such, but it was a volunteering opportunity. I volunteered to like help other peers manage their academics and also cheer them up during the low phase of their time. It inculcated like leadership skills, developed my emotional quotient. Uh, I became a more of a sound person. I used to be like quite young and dynamic, but not a very good listener before that. But I became a more of a listener and tried to like understand different perspective and try to be more inclusive about it. So I thank counseling service for inculcating these qualities in me. Uh, in the second year of my masters, I was again exploration mode. I wanted to do something not very uh, similar to what all my peers were doing. That was like going for PhD in mathematics and then you eventually look out for professorship in mathematics. I was like, I want to apply my skills for something better than just going for professorship. So I joined this interesting group called World Governance Expedition, which was visiting United States back in 2016. The idea was to like go to United States and meet with different academia, policymakers, think tanks, and social groups to understand how the policy making is done at the highest level to the lowest level, at the community engagement to the Supreme Court of the US. So we met exciting people. This is uh, Justice Stephen Breyer, who was in the Supreme Court for the longest time. We met now Lieutenant Governor, but then the Maryland State Delegate Aruna Miller. We met very many school and college representatives, including big names like MIT, Harvard, to University of North Carolina. And the idea that I was trying to explore that was how my skills as a mathematician or someone coming from more of a science background with inculcation towards public policy interest can be applied. And I got various answers, and one of them was like, I should hone on my data analytics skills and become a more of a get myself into the data science boom that was getting around that time. So I graduated from and IIT Kanpur in 2017. Again, after 2017, I had options to like again go for academia right away versus go and explore some more things, different career options. I decided to pursue interesting career opportunity I got from the placements out of IIT Kanpur. I joined Optum Global Solutions, which is a part of United Health Group, which is one of the largest insurance company here in US. This was a data analytics wings of United Health Group, and we were supposed to work on the actuarial and data science part of the business. I took up the job. That was my first job as such. That was paying me full time. It was a interesting start in the corporate world. Lots and lots of things that I learned. I honed on my technical skills, ability to work on big data. I was working on the projects that were leveraging big data and machine learning. The words big data and machine learning were still nascent back in 2017. Things were coming up in India and worldwide. So I was on the frontiers of technology, working on exciting things. However, something was missing. I was working to help the business to grow business, save money. In the process, I was also reason some people being fired because things were being automated by us. Doesn't require a lot of jobs. So back in my mind, I was just not very satisfied with the job I was doing, the skills I was applying to. And again, within a year, I started finding other options. In the meantime, I started one organization along with my sister. We named it a Prayas, which I will talk in a bit. So I wanted to like also shift back. I was stationed in Noida for my job, and 2017-18 used to be like the worst air pollution and pollution time. Overall, my health wasn't doing well, so eventually I decided to head back home. It has been 6 years since I was living apart from my family. My grandparents were already in late 90s, and I thought like if I can get an opportunity to stay around them, I would take it. And that's where an interesting opportunity came in. So there is an office called IWMI Tata Water Policy Program. IWMI is International Water Management Institute, and Tata Trust supports the program. And the idea about IMI Tata was to develop water policies and understand the agriculture, irrigation, and water related issues uh, in Gujarat and in India. So I joined the team. It was a small team with exciting group of leadership. Professor Tushar Shah, is still my uh, mentor in some sense, used to help me understand the initial exploration around the irrigation and the water challenges in Gujarat and India broadly. So this time I was devoting more. I came in with the technical skills, but did not had that good of a ground understanding of the challenges. So 2 years that I spent there, I mostly devoted to like field work and understanding irrigation and agriculture issues. I spent a lot of time in Saurashtra and Kutch, which are semi-arid and arid parts of Gujarat. Uh, Irrigation and water management is a big challenge. Agriculture is booming, but water is normally the bounding factor, along with many other market issues for the horticulture crops and uh, water management, along with agriculture practices. Uh, I also produced quite a literary outcome out of that. I presented the highest forums like India Water Week, published papers and articles around different issues, including rainfall variability and climate change. Also had a good collaboration with outside India. A friend of mine working in Pakistan invited me to write a paper on climate-induced risk and livelihood. I published paper on groundwater in Kutch, Saurashtra, and different parts. Also started developing a workshop material for database policy analysis. Delivered the workshops to a couple of avenues, and it was definitely very exciting time. I was also preparing for applying for PhDs, and simultaneously I was working on this front and also working simultaneously on my personal interest to work in Kutch and the region my ancestors belongs to. So this is what I just introduced earlier, Prayas, which I started along with my sister in 2017-18, while also working with IWMI Tata and Optum. So this was a more of a side hustle that I was developing, and the idea was to build something for the community in Kutch. So my grandfather had to migrate out of Kutch because of water scarcity and limited livelihood opportunities, and he settled in central part of Gujarat. But we always had a soft corner for this region, uh, mostly known as very arid, but actually it's not very arid completely. It's a vibrant ecosystem that lives there. Uh, we went to Kutch with idea to like start a democratic school. The democratic school was a brainchild of my sister. She wanted to work on something that has a more of a Gurukul style or open boundary education. And her son was like a 4 year old, and she didn't want uh, her son to go to like very orthodox education system where it's hugely burdened, and kids nowadays have a huge burden to like pass through the examination and everything. So she was thinking about starting one open school, which we eventually started in 2019. And along with that, we also started four other groups which were on agriculture, skill development, and health. So Prayas is still functioning in Gujarat. We started working along with farmers and other distributors to understand the agriculture and irrigation needs in the region. Also in 2019, also in the side hustle, I was a part of an Unleashed team, which is again an organization that tries to work in bringing in innovation. Uh, I I was invited as one of the talent for Unleashed 2019, which was in China. Uh, Visiting China was an interesting experience altogether. I visited US and other countries, but China gave me a different perspective about how development is being pushed through and how the society functions altogether. In 2019, also, like I was recognized as the National Youth Awardee. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports awarded the National Youth Award for my work working in Kutch on grassroots through Prayas, and also working on literary things through my publications and field work in Kutch and Saurashtra. I was also invited for SDG talks on happiness of commons and water issues. This was again a time when COVID was hitting and we were mostly stuck at home. So I was mostly working on getting the knowledge I acquired working with IWMI Tata for 2 years out and also applying for my PhD. Uh, Eventually in 2020, I was admitted to Penn State to pursue my PhD in environmental economics. It was a good match for me. The professor I am currently working with, he works on the water policy, and I definitely wanted to work on water policies in development world. Uh, so joined here have been exciting time. I wouldn't have asked for more. Firstly, it's a vibrant community here. Uh, Wherever I go, I find I learn a lot through my peers, and having a diverse set of peers around me always makes things very exciting. and it provides opportunity to learn many things new. Coming here, it's definitely a vibrant Indian community, but there are many people who are from different backgrounds. I found friends from different parts of the world, from Latin America to Europe to East and Southeast Asia. Uh, Here also we started a exciting group called Penn State Association of Water Students. We do a lot of understanding, transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary understanding of water issues. Our group has been very active in organizing workshops and conferences for the students and broadly for the academia to understand a diverse set of challenges in water sector. While working on different things, my PhD used to focus on solar irrigation development in Gujarat and India. I did a lot of field work along with my professors, and this summer I was also actually on a consultation with Swiss Development Corporation, SDC. We worked to understand the different issues with the Surya Shakti Kisan Yojana, one of the policy by the state of Gujarat to develop a grid-connected solar irrigation. Uh, it has been exciting opportunity to like work directly with the stakeholders at different strata from the government to the like civil organization to international aid agencies to understand how different people are pursuing the climate solutions and climate change mitigation efforts. Uh, Broadly, I am still a PhD student, so I am working on my thesis that's on water policies and associated research questions. I work on the groundwater and air pollution, working on solar irrigation and groundwater, and also uh, how the water utilities can uh, tap in the more of a water conservation. Uh, Lastly, like I'm still more on the exploration part, so I keep my motto is keep exploring. I travel a lot in US. My target is to like try to visit as much as during my PhD and try to understand how United States developed itself as a how much of a developed country, and also try to understand how different parts of the country are very different from each other, although being very homogeneous. Yes, that's mostly me, and I'm open for more things if you have anything to ask me.
Praharsh, it's very impressive, I must say. And my policy is not to ask questions, okay? Because then I'm guiding what I'm listening to, what I want to hear. But you have told us quite a lot. Any tips you have for your juniors? That's the only question that I have.
Uh, I would see this as an opportunity to guide myself 10 years down when I was like undergrad student. If I see myself 10 years down, what would I tell him? I would definitely tell him to keep exploring more. The world is very dynamic place. It's ever evolving and ever changing. What you bring on table is your ability to work along with different people, try to inculcate different knowledge and skill sets as a smart kid. So always try to keep ahead on the graph, try to find new avenues. If I had left my undergrad with the motto of just pursuing science, I wouldn't have been able to explore the different avenues that I could eventually explore. If I had
Okay.
just stayed into mathematics, I wouldn't have been able to like do much of the exciting work that I'm doing around water policies.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So let's end it here today. We'll catch up with you in 1 year to see,
Sure.
where all this is leading to. We won't have to hear the full story, just the new things that you have done and what new ideas you've got. Till then, let's say bye to the viewers. Bye, everybody. I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then. Bye, Praharsh, from the recording. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.